Welcome back to the True Body Intelligence Podcast. My name is Lee Maher, and I'm your host. And today, we are going to get into transmutative meditations, which is an aspect of the body of light system within True Body Intelligence. And so this is exciting for me because when you go through transmutative meditation, it's as if we've gone in and we've extracted from the root this superconscious negative karmic frequency that is disrupting your inner peace. And for me, inner peace is the platform that you always want to come from, and it makes everything so much easier in life. Because when you're at peace internally, you're externally at peace with everyone outside of you. And so how you treat yourself affects everyone else. How you treat everyone else affects you. So why would you ever want to let some old karmic, unresolved belief, experience, inner deficiency or fear to disrupt any of your current relationships? For me, that makes absolutely no sense. And what makes the most sense is to learn how to go through or have someone guide you through a transmutative meditation that'll help you get more of your energy integrated and congruent so you can build the happy, joy-filled, peaceful, emotionally grounded, super energetic, very comfortable, powerful life that you want. What else is there?
We're back, Christopher.
We're back again.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
sharing more love and light and information and consciousness and hopefully making a profound difference.
Indeed.
For some poor soul.
Or some great soul.
Yeah. Either way, I'm happy.
Yeah. So right now we're getting into transmutative meditation?
Yes.
Okay. And
it's kind of a tongue twister.
It is a tongue twister, especially for me. I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to learn what it is. Let's dive into it. Tell me, in short, what is it?
A transmutative meditation is a 45-minute to 90-minute process where we give very specific instructions to your body, brain, and nervous system to locate negative energies, negative frequencies, false projections, false assumptions that you have created at some point in your existence that is now disrupting your ability to access happiness, joy, peace, your own inner sense of power, your own sense of self, your open-mindedness, your ability to change, transform, your own sense of utopian principles, your ability to communicate clearly to those who are in your circle or in your sphere of influence to help you create the life that you really want. And so the transmutative meditation, in my opinion, is the most effective way to transmute. And when we say transmute, that's a confusing word for people. So what we mean is bringing something from low functioning, emotional, psychological, energetic expression into high functioning, emotional, psychological, energetic expression. And so in order for something to be low versus high, it means that the frequency must be extremely stagnant, right? And what has to be attached to that is something that's false, right? Some controlling mechanistic structure strategy that you implemented at some point in your existence in order to survive your circumstances. And the reason why I feel that true body intelligence is very powerful for the world today is because we're in a place where people are more aware of their energy, they're more aware of their moods, they're willing to seek help, to to bring themselves back to some sense of normality, even though normality is still a place that's far away from who it is they really are. At least they're in the position of seeking, right? And is the end point the result? No. What's important for me is that they actually realize that, oh, there's another way to do this, right? And there's a more effective way to use my time and my energy and my resources to lift me out of or to dismantle what's holding me down. And many times people have no idea why they struggle with money, why they struggle in their relationships interpersonally, why they fail miserably at work to accomplish their goals, why it's difficult to get out of bed in the morning, why they're constipated, right, at a physical level, why their vision is altering, why they're losing their hearing, why they have semi-consistent headaches or migraines, even worse, or why they have to deal with menstrual cramps every month, or why their relationships with their parents are very difficult, why every time their mom offers something of value to them, they immediately reject it and kick it into the dirt before even taking a second to consider it. Why they find it difficult to communicate what their needs are to their friends. Why they sacrifice themselves in order to maintain relationships. Why they spend their Friday nights and Saturday nights and Thursday nights drunk off their asses. Why the only way they can manage their emotional state is by being high all the time of marijuana. You know, these are abnormal states of function, and yet we live in a society today that the stress loads are so high that you have to have access to something to be able to manage being inside the insanity of being so far away from who it is you are that it's intolerable to actually feel the distance between your true self and your fabricated, negatively conditioned self. And if what you feel is important to you is to come here and be authentically self-expressed in your truest nature, then the only choice is to dismantle anything and everything that's false. And what better way to do it than gathering together with someone who knows how to hold space and walk you through a verbal, algorithmic process that allows you to be absolutely present by the end and to activate inside of you all of these aspects of yourself that have been turned off over time. And once you turn them back on, then they're on. Like, you know, if you take a 6-year-old and you teach them how to ride a bike and they fall when they're 8 and they decide, I feel safer on a skateboard, and they abandon their bicycle, and then 25 years later they meet a young man or young woman, a friend of theirs, who's at the beach and wants to ride down the boardwalk on a bike, well, yeah, they can get back on that bike. And even though it's been 22 years, guess what? They can still ride that bike. And so the thing about energy is once it's emotion, it's emotion. Once you turn the lights on, the lights are on. You'd have to go back through and relive all the stress and trauma and drama of your previous life before we met in order to turn the lights back off. So body of light turns the lights back on. And once they're on forever. I mean, you'd have to do some really horrendous things to yourself to be able to turn those lights off.
After they're on?
After they're turned on, you would have a difficult time. You know, it's like once you became aware that pea protein was difficult for you to digest, It's going to be very difficult for you for someone to convince you, like, hey man, I made the most delicious burger in the world and it's made with pea protein. Would you like a bite? No, pea protein. Oh, well, just a little bite. No, I'm good. Oh, come on, just one. I just made it tonight. I mean, we're friends. Can you? And you're just like, no. Because now you're aware, right? That part of you is turned on. And once we turn these parts on, they're on. The question is, what do they give you the ability to do? They give you the ability to see who you are and abandon the way that you used to operate that kept you small, right? Now you get to be your big self. You get to own your space, right? And what I mean by own your space is you realize that you get to say yes or no relative to what you're actually really feeling and what you're actually sensing and what you're actually emoting and what you're instincting and what you're analyzing and what you're circulating. You get to be in charge of what goes in and out of your body, your mind, your emotions, and your spirit, your energy. And I think that's a very powerful position to be in, because now people get to have the experience of authenticity, and they get to relate to who it is you really are, as opposed to what you created that you thought other people would find acceptable about you versus the actual you. And so Body of Light's a very quick fix. And I'll say it differently. Body of Light's a quick upgrade, right? Because once you understand that I got one life and I want to squeeze the most out of this experience, and you're motivated, and your transformation is being catalyzed by love, a choice to love yourself more, then Body of Light is a near and dear friend, because you get to go in and shift your base state. So let's say enlightenment's a 10, right? Out of 10. And the average human's, vibrating at like a 3.8. Well, when you go through your Body of Light transmutative meditations on your mom and your dad, you're already moving up a couple notches.
So just to pause there for 1 second, what is the difference between the Body of Light process and the transmutative?
Well, the Body of Light is a system that has different things in it. It has attunements,
and transmutative meditation.
It has transmutations and transmutative meditation. So transmutation is something that could last like 6 seconds, right? But a transmutative meditation is between 45 minutes and 90 minutes. And it's like if we went into a garage, right? And you were a hoarder. And we went into your garage and you said, hey, I'm going to the bathroom. And by the time you came back from the bathroom, we got rid of everything that was in that garage, and then we turned it into a man cave with all your favorite sports memorabilia. And Michael Jordan, your favorite athlete, is sitting on the couch looking at you, offering you a burger that he just barbecued while you were in the bathroom. Like, that is how much occurs, how much change actually occurs in that 45 minutes to 90 minutes. And so it's that fast. It's a complete upgrade. So why would someone be motivated? I guess that's the question. You'd be motivated to go through a transmutative meditation when you realize that you are a co-creator in every relationship that you have. And once you have that realization, you realize that there's no space for the perpetrator or the victim. There's no space for the narcissist and the self-sacrificed, right? You're like, oh, I'm co-creating this. I'm responsible. Because guess what? Your mom could be 70 years old and she comes from a different generation. She's like, I'm not having it. I don't care what your young perspective is. I grew up in a different time. I'm unwilling to change. Well, guess what happens when you do your body of light, transmutative meditation, and you go back and see her? You've already repaired the relationship. So now the things that she used to say that agitate you, they no longer agitate you. And when she's sharing, you no longer feel like you're in competition with your sister. And you feel that love. You're able to understand her position. And then suddenly, because she's your mom and half the cells in your body are hers, well, guess what happens to her? She now changes too. She changes as well, because she now is part of your lineage going in an exact opposite direction. So every human being on the planet has the opportunity to change the course of their lineage. And all they need to do is go through a 45-minute to 90-minute process and transmute these limiting beliefs, these false ideas, these false projections, these false assumptions, these controlling mechanistic structures and strategies that were implemented when 99% of society was stuck in a survival-based pattern. Yeah, you can neutralize that like that quick. And so what I love about the Body of Light transmutative meditations is it's instantaneous and it's permanent. You can take people who've been the most traumatized, or those who are unaware of their stress or trauma, and you can bring them back into alignment very quickly. And then they start getting inspired to do really good things for themselves. And then once you turn on that light, once that's going, it's going. This momentum has been created, and it continues to gain speed every day, every week, every month, because as you are, you so become, right? So when I'm in alignment, everything around me comes into a greater state of alignment. Now, because everything's in a greater state of alignment, I get access to a greater state of alignment. Now that I'm in a greater state of alignment, everything around me gets into a greater, and it feeds off of itself, right? So the outside feeds the inside feeds the outside. So what are we doing for that 45 minutes to 90 minutes? The first stage is the instruction, right? You're telling your body how to locate where these things are. And then from the investigation, I already know what your inner deficiencies and insecurities are around your mom and your dad. And then we're plugging in those qualities to be transmuted. And then we're going to ask for that to occur since the inception of your soul. So right before the moment before your soul was created, so we can transmute from this moment all the way back then. So let's say your soul is, 450,000 Earth years in terms of time. Well, now we're going back through all those doorways and we're closing them. And we're opening up all the opposite doorways. So now you have access to the exact opposite quality. So instead of feeling disempowered in a group, you feel empowered. Instead of feeling shy and shut down, you feel open and receptive. Instead of feeling depressed and disconnected, you feel connected and impassioned. And so the exact opposite quality and energy and consciousness and type of intelligence is available to you now on a regular basis. And that, for me, that's important.
Absolutely. No, that's a huge transformation. So I understand now that this is basically a particular process you put people through, 45 minutes to 90 minutes, in which they're completely transformed. So it's if body of light, if the transmutation in general can take like a few minutes, here you're going through a very deep exploration of this whole system that goes all the way to the core, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're looking at every energetic system within all of your systems, right? And the beautiful thing is that the body knows what to do. All we need to do is give it the instructions. And the good thing is your body has to listen. And because it's required to listen, there's no argument. It just takes care of what it needs to take care of. The intelligence is already, the program has already been built inside so that we can run the algorithm through it. Okay? And so now we have a key, right? We have a key that opens certain doors and closes the others. And we use that vibrational verbal algorithm to insert those keys, close the doors that are no longer valuable, which means the ones that are inspiring behavior that's catalyzed by fear. And then we use the other keys to open the doors that catalyze behavior that's spawned by love. And love is an easier frequency than fear. They both have value. But fear only has value until you're aware of the limitation. And then once you're aware of the limitation, the fear no longer has any value. So let's transmute it so we no longer have to participate with it.
So this is a process that you take people through 45 minutes to 90 minutes in which you kind of go to the core of their transmutation process versus doing it for a few minutes. Is there something that is in that ballpark that people can, you give them a technique that they can do by themselves, alone at home?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I love about True Body Intelligence the most is ultimately, I'm very good at what I do in terms of my work, but I'm a much better teacher than I am a coach, a guide, or some people would term it as a healer, right? And so I always find great value in teaching people how to take care of themselves. What we left out, though, before we move on to like a deeper subject, is that the body of light is working at the level of the superconscious. And so what's important to understand before we shift into there, your conscious mind is analogous to a grain of sand. Your unconscious is analogous to a 55-gallon drum of sand. Your subconscious is analogous to all of the sand on planet Earth. And your superconscious is analogous to all the sand in the universe. So if you were going to use a system or a pathway to go through to create deep, instantaneous, permanent change, obviously you would go through the superconscious. And so what I want the listeners to understand is that your superconscious has access to all parts of you. Everything that emanates from it. So when you're going through a transmutative meditation, now you have an opportunity to create super, super, super deep change at a soul-based level. And that is profound. And once you know that that's possible, and once you learn how to go through a transmutative meditation, and you put that time aside maybe once a week, once every other week, to start going through the process of stripping these deep layers of disconnection, you're going to be able to access more peace, more love, more joy, more groundedness, more happiness, more openness, more power, more strength, more emotions, have a greater awareness of your instincts and the energy that makes up all things. And your awareness to all of that is going to change your whole reality. So the transmutative meditations are super, 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 super important. And that piece that I gave you on the grain of sand versus all the sand in the universe, super important to understand. Thank you for tuning in to today's content. This will be made available in its full form of everything we put together for you at truebodyintelligence.com. And at truebodyintelligence.com, you can tune into my book, Free for Life, a U.S. Navy SEAL's unique journey to inner freedom and outer peace. And there I will teach you at a much deeper level And this will be really, really, really good reference tool for you. Plus, the audiobook has an opportunity to allow you to start the program already by purchasing the one with the energetic integrations, and that will help you get started. All of this content will also be available on all major platforms: Apple Podcast, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, and YouTube.